is Tzvi Lebetkin, your Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And I had just finished watching the season 24 Blu-ray box set of Doctor Who. I didn't just finish it. I finished it last night. I opened up with a lie. And that lie just didn't do any good for me at all. Like, sometimes you lie and you don't really know why. Like, have you seen that movie? Yes, when you haven't. So I didn't just finish watching it, but I just kind of, I finished it last night. Strong recommend. Box set is a strong recommend for a very weak season, but a very, very, very interesting season. I think it kind of came together with the last story, Dragonfire, which was my memories of it, right? But my memories of the great thing about these box sets is you go, especially ones from things that I watched when I was younger, when they first went out. You get to compare how you are now as 30 years later, 40 years later, however many years later it is, with your initial impressions of it. And season 24 has done quite favorably because of that, right? Has come out of that quite well. I remember Dragonfire being by far my favorite story of the season. It remains my favorite story of the season. It's really the one where Andrew Cartmel, who was really the showrunner at this point, sort of basically the showrunner, kind of worked out what he was doing. It's not a perfect story by any way, shape, or form. Man, I just totally froze. It's not a perfect story by any way, shape, or means. It's not an all-time classic. It's really fun. It's really, really fun and not awful, right? Not like, so painfully, not full of painful mistakes. But it again, as I said, strong recommend. And there's a lot on this set that I watched with Dragonfire. Making this like a real strong recommend. Fine, before we get into the review, can you hit the like button? That'd be fantastic. Thank you very much. As always, I like to be liked. I do like to be liked. Can you hit the share button? I like to be shared. I think the less said about that, the better. Like, share, subscribe. That's fantastic. Now, again, my weird relationship with YouTube and my subscribers, I don't really know how to quantify it. They're passive aggressive. I'm passive, they're aggressive. I guess that's the kind of vibe I get at. But listen, if you hit the subscribe button, that'd be great. If you subscribe, please make sure you still subscribe and comment. Let me know what you think about this gloriously fun, frothy story. So like, share, subscribe, comment. Check out my Indiegogo, which now everything's been uploaded. Right now, they're actually not waiting for me for anything. Where is it? It's over, turn it on it. There you go, but I can't find, oh, there it is, I found it. Yeah, there you go, 2 awesome comic books, all uploaded to the printers, all ready to go. I'm waiting for them to tell me shipping costs. I don't know if I'm going to be printing my US orders in the UK, because of that wonderful Biden inflation, Biden stagnation, stagflation, I think they're calling it. Is it? Yeah, when the economy is both inflating and stagnating simultaneously. That's pretty bad. But anyway, it's now like, 45-50% more expensive than print in the US. But I want to get this out quick because God only knows what's going to happen to the shipping costs if we don't do it quickly. But basically, that's really what I'm waiting on. Hopefully they'll tell me today, right? Hopefully they will tell me today. 2 awesome comic books. So you get, biblical, Bible stories, aces, creatures, rashes, rogues. Frickin' awesome. I wrote and drew this one. 240 pages long. Very, very biblically accurate if you're a Bible thumpy type person. If you're not a Bible thumpy type person, don't worry. I'm not trying to brainwash you into being really. I mean, really? It's like haven't we seen that just fail over and over again with current TV as they try and brainwash us into not being racist, even though we're not racist? Lots and lots of weird things. So yeah, it's really just a good story, mate. Good story. I wrote and drew it, as I said. Very, very, very happy with this. I've actually remastered a lot of it. I rewrote the text for the last few pages, and boy, is it better. Oh man, is it so much better. So yeah, I'm really excited for this getting out to you. Then there's this one, The Imperium, a love letter to Telefan's 96's James Bond. Oh my God. What's up with the idiots behind the new James Bond movie? I just saw 2 headlines. One of both from Lashana Lynch is her name, the new 007, a very masculine-looking black woman. One saying, "Oh, James Bond can be a man or a woman." I mean, literally, the whole article is her saying, "Yeah, you guys will buy anything we do. No, we could do anything, and it doesn't matter." And that's really what they think. And then there was another article where she talks about, I don't know, I haven't read that one, but lots of weightism. Oh, wicked weightism every. Oh, God. So anyway, not that James Bond. This James Bond. Well, it's not even James Bond. It's called the Agent. No, this one's called the Assassin. I can't call them the real names. I don't owe them. So it's like the Assassin is James Bond, essentially. The Exile, Doctor Who. The Agent, Emma Peel. The Astronaut, the monkey in a spacesuit, and the Envoy is the Black Slav from 2001. Bit of Prisoner, bit of Thunderbirds. If I do future volumes of it, I think I'm going to do Leo McKern's #2 as the villain in the second volume, and I'm going to call him the Free Man, right? So that'd be cool. And then the Thunderbirds will be called Firebrand. So I think that kind of works. Anyways, yeah. So go check it out. Artwork by Dominic Rancho. This is now 124 pages long. I thought it was 120 pages, but I actually missed out a page and putting it together. Glad I noticed that before it went to print. Anyway, so you get both books. You get tons of stuff. You get this poster. I'm going to give you guys another poster. There's somebody who contacted me in chat said they want to make sure they're getting everything. Yeah, I'm up to that right now. Okay, I'm up to making sure, going through everybody's order and making sure everybody gets what they're supposed to get. So I'm giving everybody another poster because you've been very nice to me. Okay, really, that's basically it. You've been very nice to me. You backed my campaign. You supported me. It's done very well. I'm very, very, very happy. Thank you very much. Here's some more stuff. So you get this poster, Forever Young, the Fourth Doctor and Sarah Jane growing all together. We have Great Balls of Fire. We have The Eyes Have It, and we have Bohemian Time and Space. I'm planning on continuing this with my next campaign. Well, the next thing I'm starting is a Substack, and of course you get the For the Male Gaze cards, which are all fantastic, right? These are, by the way, I just enlarged, these were going to be A6 size, and I thought that's too small, so I made them bigger, right? They're A5, they're putting on like nicer card. Look, I can't not do my best. I mean, really, it's just like grandfathered into me. So anyway, if you want it, it's in the video notes, going offline. Like, I hope soon, any second now. Basically, as soon as they get back to me. So there you go. Thank you very much. Let's talk about Dragonfire. I had so much freaking fun. Okay, so much fun. So there's a lot to recommend the story, but what really makes it entertaining is watching in context of the rest of the season 24. So it starts off with Time in the Rani, which is a grandfather script that came in before Andrew Cartmel. Then Andrew Cartmel basically is like, "Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. What is?" And he wasn't a Doctor Who fan, but he took it seriously, right? Took it seriously and tried to work out what he's doing. Didn't really know at first, and I think, and I found it in the extras. The executives at the BBC are pretty much to blame for this season not being the greatest. How are they to blame for it? It's because who was it? Ian Briggs, the writer, said he was meeting with, I'm thinking Colin Powell. Is Colin Powell the director of drama at the time? Or was it something Powell? I think Colin Powell might have actually been a former general in the American Army. How wrong am I? I don't know. But something Powell. Jonathan Powell. And Jonathan Powell was talking to him and said, "So who do you think Doctor Who is for?" He said, "Well, for everybody. It's a family show." He said, "No, just for children. It's just for children." And you can see that influence going throughout the season. And they basically abandoned that, but at the beginning of the second season 25. Like, I think John Nathan said, "Oh, that's bollocks. Let's just do what we think is right." That's essentially what I think Andrew Cartmel was essentially the showrunner, and John Nathan was basically just making it happen, right? Just making it happen. And he did have some input on the scripts, obviously, but he was just really, really, really in a bad place. He was just screwed over horribly by the BBC, and in the middle of being screwed over by fandom, like DWB, the big fan at the time, Doctor Who Bulletin, were just relentlessly going after him, and I think it's mostly to do with a personal fallout between him and Ian Levine, the former like fan advisor, right? But yeah, he's on this disc or Delta and the Bannerman on Did You See, where they're lambasting the show horribly, right? Saying how terrible it is. And let's be clear, a lot of this season is just like doesn't know what it's doing. But the great thing about Dragonfire is that finally we get Andrew Cartmell's vision. Finally, it's actually Andrew Cartmell and Sylvester McCoy's vision finally comes together and produces something watchable, something good, something fun, something that somewhat, I'm not saying completely, somewhat achievable on their on their budget, but it basically has an identity which is very much like the comic strip of the time. It's very frothy, very light, very silly. It kind of you get that feeling of, but not in a bad way silly. You kind of get a feeling of the proto New Adventures. Imagine New Adventures for 12-year-olds, right? The Virgin Book New Adventures for 12, and so you get this like expanded, really just fun universe. Which they put everything. The story doesn't really work, and there's a lot missed out. And you can again, you get this in the making ofs. That there's a lot they just weren't able to pull together, and there's a lot of exposition that just didn't really pan out. I mean, today, if it was being made, well, not today, prior to the insanity today, if it was made in a more competent age, they would have a tone meeting where everybody sits down together and just gets on the same page, which is where I think the biggest problems came from. So one of the big problems is, of course, the cliffhanger at the end of episode 1, which the script is basically said the Doctor's climbing down the mountain, this like ice face, and then he gets to another bit and he doesn't really make it, so he climbs over. And it just wasn't able to be realized. So I keep watching it and I go, it's killing me, because they could fix this so easily. I mean, just so freaking easily. Firstly, you can just, Photoshop, like paint out, change the backdrop. Like the cliffhanger, if you don't know, Sylvester McCoy is wandering around and he just climbs over a gantry and then dangles from his umbrella to his doom for no reason whatsoever, right? So what they really could do, just want to really real cheap, just change the background, like Photoshop out the background so the walkway he's going on has collapsed and he can't go forward, so he has to climb down, right? At least that would make sense, but it doesn't really make sense when you see his feet dangling and he looks down like, well, didn't he see the ledge wasn't there? So what they could really do is, I mean, look, if you want to go to Total Town, go with it. They can have him walk across and they will do a new effect shot of a ice slide collapsing the gantry, and so he has to climb over, and as he's climbing over, they put another effect shot of his feet knocking the some ice, making another ice slide, getting rid of the much of the platform that he planned to land on, and then it would make sense. But they basically said, they just screwed up, right? Like in the making of, in the behind the sofa, whatever they said, we just screwed up. We just didn't pan out, and he feels really bad about it. Chris Clough, the director, he feels genuinely bad about it. Well, there's a lot to feel good about. Okay, the main thing to feel good about in this story is Sophie Aldred. Sophie Aldred, green as anything. Soap must be 23, 24. Really young, just knocking it out of the park. Really knocking it out of the park, taking the role and running with it. I think that she hasn't learned how to act on TV yet, which means that you got a real fresh and very authentic performance. It really worked. It fits so well into the time, right? It felt like a breath of fresh air, something new, something very contemporary, very modern, very exciting, right? It felt very exciting at the time, and it still does stay. You can see how she's just like, wow, I'm in Doctor Who, and she's really putting in her absolute best and doing an absolute great job, really creating the character, and it's a joy to watch. It's an absolute joy to watch. One of John Nathan Stoner's few bits of input this season is making the character who was supposed to be Glitz It was basically a very, very similar character. He said, look, this is very similar to Tony Selby's Glitz. Can we just make him Tony Selby? And I think that was an inspired idea, inspired bit of casting. So Tony Selby, you hear the stories more than one time on the discs, is really believes he came up with the idea for Sophie Aldred to be the companion, right? And you hear Sophie tell the story over twice, once in the making of, once in the behind the sofa, which I really enjoyed both of those things, especially the behind the sofa, where she does a great impression of Tony Selby. Recently passed away. Sorry to sorry to hear that. My condolences to his family, but she does a great impersonation of him when he said, "You know what? You'll make a great Doctor Who companion." Oh yeah, and he thinks he came up with the idea. So I think he campaigned for it to John Nathan Turner, and John Nathan Turner had basically decided at that point. So again, the story you hear a couple of times on disc is John Nathan Turner comes down from the gantry, chain smoking as he does, and he's I think his line is like, "Well, we're game if you are," right? So it was basically a done deal. Bonnie Langford has pretty much done her time. And Bonnie Langford was given said, "Hey, do you want to be in Doctor Who?" And she knows Doctor Who is a cool thing to be in, so says sure. And she has no idea what Doctor Who is or was, or I think she didn't know how weird her character is, and her character was really weird, right? Mel is a weird person, and it's something you don't really want to be around. I feel kind of bad at the end when she goes off with Glitz in Ice World. But that's as an aside. The effects work also really, really good. Well, yeah, I was going to say there's the famous effect at the end, but the model work of the space is excellent, and the model work of the planet, was it Svartos, where you have the ice on one side and the heat on the other, really good. Like a lot of things just really, really nicely come together for this story. A great thing in this story and a great thing on this set is Patricia Quinn. One of my favorite extras. I watched it at the end as a throwaway. So I'm like, I'll check this out for 5. It was a half hour long, called An Audience with Patricia Quinn / Lady Stevenson. I'm like, who's Lady Stevenson? And I thought I'll watch it for 5 minutes. Check it out. I was hooked. Absolutely hooked. She is fascinating. I want to spend a lot of time with Patricia Quinn, Lady Stevenson. Absolutely fascinating person. So she was famous for being Magenta in the Rocky Horror Show, and she was just an insanely cool person who's led an insanely cool life, right? And has not been constrained by convention, right? Not been, and she's wonderful. Now she's a batty old lady, right? And that's really had to go. But as she's going through her life, and her life is just I had no idea what an accomplished actress she is, right? But she's going through her life. There's just moments of pure charm when she's remembering stuff, and she's remembering bits of, and her smile breaks across her face, and it's wonderful. It really is just wonderful to watch. Yeah, she remembers being lusted after, and let me tell you, she's a very attractive woman, especially in the rock. She remembers she talks about some people looking and going, oh, and she's like, and she smiles because she remembers being hot, right? And she's like, and it's such a warm memory for her. She's very, very endearing, very, very batty, and so basically she was offered to be in Doctor Who, and much like Bonnie Langford, she said, Doctor Who, super cool. I'll be in Doctor Who. That sounds crazy. I'll do that. And she was great in it. She's fantastic. She's and yeah, she adds a real element of class to the whole production. Nothing adding an element of class is there's a much more modern take on the design work. We got, I think this is Sue Moore did a lot of the monster effects. I think. Look, the dragon is very, very clearly modelled on Alien, but at the time it was so contemporary, and so like, wow, that's really, really cool, right? And even though when the alien head opens up and the Dragonfire comes out and it's wobbling like crazy and looks like garbage, you are sold on it because they're all sold on it, right? And again, this is their vision of Doctor Who. Who's the villain? Edward Peel as the villain, freaking awesome. As Kane, a great Doctor Who villain. Sadly, lacking lots of motivation and understand, which they talk about, saying, "Oh, there's bits that we've cut out," and I believe in the novelization they put a lot more stuff in. But he really sells it. He really sells it as a great villain. One of the things let down was the Sablon Gritz's former crew, who was sold into slavery into Kane, and then they were mind wiped by being frozen. They would have worked so much better if they had like a little bit of a prosthetic on their face, like a Boog-like prosthetic, as they're like now they're mind wiped zombies, and it would have been scarier and better. Just nobody thought of it. It probably wouldn't have been expensive to do. And it would have added so much, really, like just so much to these somewhat naff villains that did their best. Like they're like, walking around. There's this weird stuff going on with a little girl through a lot of it, and you can see they're trying to do something a bit artsy, a bit different. It doesn't really work, doesn't really come together. But again, this story is a fusion of everything that Andrew Cartmell's been trying to do with Doctor Who. And I think more or less he basically nails it, gets the work. Of course, over the summer, he sits down, he works out how to really do Doctor Who. He says, the BBC, they're much better at doing historicals than they are at doing science fiction. So let's set everything in the 60s. And it works. Again, absolutely works. So I think the leap in quality between season 24 and season 20, which is astonishing and massive. It's great watching the season again because you see it kind of like coming up to the ramp and it's about to jump off and be great and be fantastic. And it really is just a joy to watch. Final thing that's a joy to watch on disc is Matthew Sweet's interview with Sylvester McCoy. Again, fascinating, absolutely fascinating. Would like to know more about it. It really tells me a lot about him, a lot about his life. So I didn't think he was that much of an actor, really, when he got the role. He just kind of fell into acting. Like he was selling tickets at the Roundhouse and ended up getting working with was it Ken Campbell, who was also up for the Seventh Doctor. And he talks about that. He says, John Nathan says he would scare children rather than, and I think he was right. I think he was actually right. I think Sylvester McCoy was absolutely inspired casting. I think as John Nathan Turner came up with the idea after seeing him in as a Pied Piper. It's just great. It's just a really great piece of casting. Really fun, really fun story. Strong recommend all over. Is there anything else on disc I haven't gone over? I don't think there is. I think this was a much maligned season. I'm really happy to have revisited it and looked at it again. Look at it again. With more, I would say more mature eyes, but they are mine. I'm still basically, the 16-year-old I was back then at the time. I haven't changed that. My hair's got grey and I'm fatter. That's better. Well, I was recently fat then too. So it's like, there isn't that much of a change. But just really great, strong man. If you're on the fence about buying this box set, because the stories aren't very good. You're right, the stories are not very good. It's totally, if you're a fan of Doctor Who, if you love Doctor Who, this is an absolute must-have for every collection. So there you go. I'm really happy to give this a strong recommend. Go check it out again. And look, and if you haven't done the box set, go, just go check out Dragonfire again. Tons of fun, tons of frothy fun. And you see a nascent creation of a really great era Doctor Who coming together, right? And it's for me, I enjoy that a lot. So there you go, Dragonfire. There's no new box set been announced yet, which I find a bit disturbing. Looking forward to whatever the next one may be, because this is a fantastic range. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.